brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY. Back with another one of that ROD pod, man. Hey, listen, man. I hope you guys is having a phenomenal one. Hope you guys is enjoying this weather, man. We in the middle of, or should I say, the end of November, and it's damn near 70 degrees, man. So take full advantage. Don't let this don't let these warm times keep you inside. Go outside, get some sunlight, you know what I'm saying? Get some sunlight, get your mind right, you know what I'm saying, and continue this fight. Speaking of fights, I wanna give nothing but thanks to the creators, nothing but thanks to the ancestors, nothing but thanks to you guys, nothing but thanks to the spirit of Ogun. You know what I'm saying? That warrior spirit, that power that dwells in us that we need to tap back into to take back what's ours, to heal our people. You know what I'm saying? Definitely wanna give thanks for that. But on a serious note, man, this up and coming Saturday, I'm going to show you guys and I'm going to play a video for you guys, and you're going to see, not coming from my mouth, but coming from the mouth of, individuals that's from the land, and you're going to see and you're going to hear out their mouth everything that I've said, that I've been saying for the last couple of months. Okay, you guys are gonna understand that the things that I've been telling you guys is not me giving you my assumptions. This is not my insertions. This is not my beliefs. These are the facts. These are the facts. These are the individuals that's not indoctrinated by the Euro Christian ideology, that understands their history, that knows their culture, know where they come from, and also is going to be able to pinpoint where things went left, how things went left, and why things remain the way that they are. See, a lot of you guys are taking what I'm saying as me being rebellious towards religion, or me being rebellious towards these teachers and stuff like that. And then it's not me being rebellious, it's me just standing on business, standing on facts over feelings, facts over beliefs. And in the process, people will be offended, but that's not my concern. My concern is breaking the shackles that's overtaking our people, taking us away from the understanding of who we are. That's my goal. That's my purpose. We must understand the tools that's being used to confuse and divide the people, especially the youth. We must know these things. I know these things. And I'm going to show you brothers, elders, who's going to show you without a shadow of a doubt, tell you exactly everything that I've been saying. And just an FYI, I've never seen these people before, never watched their videos, never heard of them, never studied under them, had absolutely nothing to do as far as connecting with them. But but the message, it remains the same. One thing that they said, monotheism is not of African culture. Let me say that again. Monotheism is not of African culture. We don't have a gender role when it comes to our creators. We know that our creators is a divine order, right? Masculine, feminine. We know these things. Okay? We don't need Euro Christian ideology to expound or acknowledge or educate us in such manner. Okay? This ideology is part of the deception and the reason to our suffering. You understand? You understand? So I'm saying that to you guys so you guys can get a clear understanding and know exactly what's going on. You feel me? You gotta realize and know that a lot of things that we are following, a lot of things that we were taught, was taught by the hands and the ways of the oppressor. It is not our customs and our culture. We do not know what monotheism is. I know a lot of you guys are slaves, so your education and your research and your studies and your access is very limited. But you have to trace and go down memory lane. You gotta put everything into perspective. When you look at the Egyptian story, it was never just a male. It was always a male and a female. When you look into when you look into hold on, let me do something real fast. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me turn this off. Alright, much better. When you when you look into Egypt, when you look into Egypt's studies, you see that. When you look into the Yoruba people, right? When you look into the gods, it was never a singular being, right? And there's an argument that's going on right now, and I don't stand on it because I don't have enough knowledge and understanding. Again, I need to start speaking to the people in the land and get clarity behind it. But the God, the creators, it starts off with the woman, then the man. I'm just saying. And I know it's a tough thing to digest, but I'm just telling you this is the information that I have received, right? And I have to, before I expound on it, I have to do my due diligence and figure out if this thing is factual. You know what I'm saying? It has to be factual. If it's not factual, I can't stand on it. I ain't gonna teach it. I ain't gonna do nothing. But I'm just giving you an understanding that these are the conversations that's being tossed out, that's being told to the people, right? And it's a phenomenal time that we are in where you seeing black people, colored people, the El Kebule kidnap are literally trying to tap into their roots, tap into their customs, into their culture, into the ways of life. It's a beautiful feel for that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm honored. You understand? And I say this all the time. I'm honored to even be given the privilege to do such things. You know, coming on YouTube and putting myself out there for the people. You know what I'm saying? The only thing for me is just growth. You know what I'm saying? You know, as time go by, I will be more comfortable. There's still times I'm still woozy when it comes to, when it comes to standing and speaking. Those that know me personally know I'm able to project better without me knowing that there's something watching me, right? Once I get over that hump as far as not caring and just speaking fluently like nothing is going on, then you understand then things is gonna be done different. But at this particular moment, it's still a learning curve, right? But in reality, the objective is to understand that my goal and our goal is to find out who we are, and our heritage does not stand in a Bible. I'm telling you guys this. Our heritage does not come from no Bible. It does not come from it. That has nothing to do with African people. Nothing. And if it did, African people will be able to tell you stories about King Solomon, King David, Saul. They'll be able to give you these conversations. Our people is unable to give you these conversations because these conversations and these situations never existed. It never happened. It never did. And we gotta understand that it just never did. Okay? And the sooner we realize that, the quicker we're gonna get to change, the quicker we're gonna put our eyes towards true redemption, right? True exodus. There's no exodus that's happening, brothers and sisters. There's no exodus that's happening, brothers and sisters. There's no mystical European story that's gonna associate themselves with black people. Okay, these people that's teaching them are ignorantly unaware of what they're doing, what they're saying. They're cold-heartedly believing such ideologies because of 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 held and tight spirits that's preventing them from elevating. Okay, just because you hear somebody talking to you, that does not mean that that is the ancestors. That does not mean that is the creators. The demons can talk to you as well. Unannounced spirits. They got good and bad spirits. These things do exist, and these spirits are the ones that can talk to you and literally misguide you and mislead you. A lot of you guys thinking that you're being led by the word, by God, by the creator, by this, by that. Even the word God, God is not something that's used in African customs. African El Kebulan people. The El Kebulan people refer to the supreme deities as creators. They don't use God. God came with religion. God, reversed backwards, is dog. That is not who we are. We do not speak such ideologies, such rhetoric languages. We don't speak that. You understand? And we have to come to the understanding about that. We don't speak such things. We don't know what that is. We don't care for what that is. It's not something that's beneficial to us as people, as a nation. It's just not. Okay? I just felt like I need to tell you guys this because a lot of you guys are unaware. A lot of you guys are being misinformed. A lot of you guys are listening and following people that's just copying and pasting the story that was given unto the slaves and told the slaves, this is what you need to teach. Again, we keep holding these people to high regards. I don't understand how are we doing this and why are we still doing this, knowing the track records behind such people, knowing that they've been lying to us, knowing that they've been deceiving us, misleading us. They've been doing it then. What makes you think they're going to change now? If they doing it back then, they was doing it since slavery. What makes you think that they're not going to continue doing it now? You have to make that make sense, guys. You really have to make that make sense. Nothing changes, bro. The fight never stops. They know that, but why aren't we knowing that? And how can you say we fighting, but yet we're fighting getting the information from them? Their sources is from them. Their sources is not from us. It's not from me. It's not from you. It's not from anything. It's literally coming from them. So if the sources is coming from them, then how can you still hold their sources as the end all be all? And your justification is because of names that's in the Bible. I said, my man, listen carefully. Think about this for a minute. Take religion out the way. Let's go based on common sense. We speak, our custom is an African dialect. These locations that you're mentioning that's in the Biblos is in English. Since when did African people change African land into English cities? How does that make sense? That's where you know that these are interjections. And if you're telling me that this is something that we was doing way before that they got there, and you'll say things like, "Oh yeah, we're waiting for the original names, the original names." If you're waiting for the original name and you know that that's not the name, then why are you still telling us that this is the name and that's the location? That's a contradiction within your teachings. That does not make sense. It's a contradiction within your teachings. It does not make sense. And it literally had to come to me really having to process everything because you gotta process it. When you under somebody's religion, it's a process, bro. You know what I'm saying? You really gotta process that joint. And I had to process, and I came to the realization, like, wait, hold on, this does not make sense. And then let me look into that. And when you look into it, you come to find out that the name that's being changed or being changed by mercenaries, missionaries, you know what I'm saying? German men, okay? British men, okay? African people can never go into Europe and say, this city right here, I'm going to name it East Coast name city.
You can never find that. But black people are so illiterate and so ignorant, right? Ignoring their ignorance, where you see that these people are doing that, and yet you're still forcing people to believe that this is such thing as ours. No, this land is terror, terror. Ain't no black person know what terror is. That's not even African. When you see the names of Africans, everything is like a HINIB. You know what I'm saying? Like it's put together like it's wow. How do you say that? Because their tongue is different, their language is different, and we're trying to associate that with English. You'll find dudes that's taking ideology from the Bible and then they're taking it and they're mixing it with the Strongs and trying to find through the Strongs and say, look, you see, you're Yoruba because they got the Y in it, knowing that the African people don't use vowels, they'll use the Y and the E's and all of that, and then say that this is us. And it's like, fam, who's telling you? Where are you gaining this information from? And it's the outsiders that's doing this. It's the outsiders that's doing this. You're not. Are you getting this from the people in the land? Are you getting this from the people who removed themselves from the colonization, that realize that we being colonized, that understand the tactics of the colonizers? Are you using that, or are you using? You know what I'm saying? Like, you reaching out to the people that's literally walking, talking, and living their lives under the guidelines of a Jesus story, under the mystical stories of a Jesus, or whatever name of a savior. People in Africa know about the 16 saviors prior to Jesus. One thing that those brothers said, and I'm gonna play it in a video. One thing that the brother said is, listen, you cannot change the image of Jesus. You could change it how many times you want. It's still a Greek god. You can put a black name. You cannot associate everything that I'm saying. You cannot associate African culture with Greek stories and trying to force yourself to believe that such things is of African descent, or it was stolen and now it has been found. These things are not true. These things are not true, guys. Nothing was stolen from you. The only thing that was stolen from you was your land. And in return for them stealing your land, they gave you a Bible to justify why they stole your land. That's what that was. We have to get up out of this slumber, people. It's important for us to realize that. You understand? They stole your land, and they gave you a book to justify why your land was stolen. And then gave you a story and told you to wait because, you know, Jesus is coming and Jesus is going to redeem you, and you're gonna get something. You're gonna get something in return. All you gotta do is keep the faith and behave and endure to the very end, and you shall receive your reward. What does that sound like? Ask yourself that question. What does that sound like? That sounds like the same thing that you hear from in Christmas stories. That's the same story. Jesus is to control, is to have obedient adults, and Santa Claus is designed to have obedient children. That's just what it is. When are we gonna wake up? The Bible tells you that when you was a child, you thought of a child, and when you became a man, you put away childish things. So why haven't we putting away religion? Why hasn't religion been put away? Why is religion still a very important factor in our lives? Why? But you say you are a man. You say you are a warrior. You saying that you are for the fight. You saying that you for your people. How can you be for your people when you're literally regurgitating the same tools and methods that was used to destroy, to capture and colonize and destroy your people? That does not make sense. It does not make sense. So how can you say that when you know what's going on? How can you say that when you have the history on the tactics that was used? You're making it even worse because now you're putting a black face on it. You're making black people wanting to believe that this mystical story is a black story and an event that really took place. And an event that really took place. And can't nobody, and I repeat, nobody trace these ideologies back. Nobody can trace back these stories. Trace it where? You cannot tell me Solomon has 700 wives, 700 wives, concubines. That means they are connected to some level of royalty, and none of them is able to be found. None of them, 700, and none of them is able to be found. Do you guys consider that to be normal? None of them is able to be found, but everybody's able to trace back Jesus from David. Everybody's able to trace Jesus back to David, but can nobody trace the 700 concubines who probably had children, boys? Where are these boys? What happened to them? Why nobody is mentioning them? Where's those boys? Where's Solomon's children? Don't give me no Selassie. Selassie is a fraud. I don't want to hear about no Selassie. Selassie is a fraud. Selassie comes from the Ottoman kingdom. He does not come from anything African. You can look Selassie in the face and you can tell without a shadow of a doubt that he has absolutely nothing black in him. His hair is coolie, his nose is long, his skin. This is a man that's supposedly born in Africa. There's no way he's supposed to be looking like that. He comes from that Byzantine Empire. That's where he comes from. That's his origin. That's where he dwells. He comes from that. He does not come from where we come from, guys. We have to wake up. His family is tied to slavery. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. His family is tied to slavery. He's related to the people that gave you the Ethiopian Bible, which was a Byzantine king who denounced his position to become a what? To become a Christian monk. Okay? And wrote the Bible in 14 days, according to what God said. In 14 days, I wrote the Bible. Come on. Come on. In 14 days. Father Garrison, Garisma. That's the father. That's the man that wrote the Ethiopian Bible. He was a Byzantine king. Byzantine is in Europe. What the heck is an African doing in Europe? He's associated with the Ottoman Empire, which is Arabs, which are Arabs. Come on, man. Stop with the madness, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really not that hard when you really start looking into the studies and into the ideologies. It's really not that hard, man. You gotta just do your homework. You gotta just do your homework. And like those brothers said, like the elders said, you will never understand what's being used to destroy you until you remove yourself from the Euro-Christian ideology. You will never see it. You will never see it. You will always live your life in a space of hope. Always live your life in a space of things is going to change and it's going to be a better this and a better that. You will never in your life see what's going on. I didn't see what was going on until I said, enough with this Euro-Christian nonsense. Enough is enough. I see what it's doing to my people. I do not want this anymore. I will not teach this anymore. I will not lead my people to believe a falsified story. that stands on absolutely no facts. There's no facts behind such ideologies. There's not. They want you to believe that. There's no facts behind such ideology. No facts. No facts behind such ideology, guys. And I hate to be the one to burst that bubble, but I gotta burst it because it's not standing on nothing. Until you remove that from your hearts, until you remove that from your heart, from your mind, from your soul, until you realize these stories, the stories about hell, the stories about heaven, until you remove that, that's when you're gonna really see for what it really is. That's when you're going to really see for what it really is. There is no Cain story. These people are, yes, they are genetically impaired. They are genetically not us. This is facts. But the Cain and Abel and all of that is lies. All of it. Those stories alone doesn't even make sense. You understand? And like I said, I'm telling you guys these things because these things are doing more damage than good to our people. We're believing Euro-Christian mystical stories. We're not even trying to figure out if this story is hand in hand with African culture, heritage, etc. We're not even doing that. We're believing it, or we're forcing ourselves to believe such ideologies based on names or locations. Look, my brother, look, this place right here. You know, look, it's in the Bible. Look, the Bible tells you, etc., 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 etc. But it's like, okay, that's cool. But when did African people name cities and land in the English language? When? So if I see Johannesburg in the Bible, then I'm gonna say Johannesburg is this book is our book because Johannesburg is in it. You gotta make that make sense. You gotta make that make sense. Johannesburg is our language, is our location. That proves why the Bible is our book because Johannesburg is in it. But who in Africa speaks German? When did the German dialect became African language? When? How much? 237. We'll go run in here for some quick guys. When did it become African dialect? Oh no, it's 329. Sorry, I'm about to pay $3 for gas. When in my hood, I'm getting this same gas, well, a better gas, but they led two 275. You know what I'm saying? When did African dialects include German text? So you telling me these locations that's in English, and because we're seeing it in English, this is not our land? This is now justification into why this is our book? Are you not realizing that these people are playing with our emotions? Do you not realize that these people are playing with our emotions? Come on, man. You gotta make those things make sense, family. It don't take rocket science to realize we're being played. And if you didn't watch the verdict that I did this Saturday, you should watch it again. When I show you when the names was added, who changed those names into biblical cities, who's doing it, Now you telling me we Dutch? You telling me we Germans? You telling me we French? We British people? These are the people that was changing these names, giving these names, biblical names. They put Hebron because they came and they seen it was a fertile land, and that's why they changed the name. Mambré was changed in 1908. So prior to that, what's the name of that? Who's changing these names? And when you see who changed it, I forgot it was the missionaries for the Masovorian church slash mercenaries. They the ones that was changing the name to Mambré. So these people are coming, literally coming into your land, coming with a Bible, introduce this Bible to you, change the name and said, look, this is the name of the city. Find little dirty areas, right? Little dirt areas, grass field or whatever, and these people are setting up cities. They're making cities. They're doing this. They're creating cities. They're making it homes. And then they're changing the names and telling you that this is what it is. And guess what we doing? We run with it. We say, yeah, this is us. And then when you speak to the African people, like I said, those that wasn't colonized, they the first ones to say, nah, my brother, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. When the Africans speak English and change their African cities to English locations. Come on, man. And when you go to Africa itself, and you go riding around, you see a lot of African names. And then you see a lot of British names. Okay? And all of these things was transpiring in the 1800s. Early 1800s, early 1900s. And I told you guys this. Albert Christian was the man that brought the commandments to South Africa. He didn't bring it to nowhere. He didn't bring it to North Africa. He didn't bring it to Egypt. He didn't bring it nowhere. He brought it strictly to South Africa. Why South Africa, you guys ask? Because South Africa, that land alone, that area, that region alone generates $1.8 billion annually. Just that region alone. $1.8 billion annually. And that's what they're telling us. It's probably worth more. It's probably worth more. This is what they're telling us. It's probably worth more. I wouldn't put it past them. Because this is what they do. Because this is what they do. And we as people need to realize that. We as people need to realize that. They're violating us. You understand? And I get frustrated because it seems like I'm always having to give you guys a reminder of where we at. We're living too comfortably. That's why I believe, and this is no disrespect to my black people, this is why I believe that we need to go back into slavery. Black people need to be enslaved. Black people need to be, put into captivity. We need to. Why? Because if you really had shackles around your neck, and if you really was able to see that you was forced to go to church on Sunday, forced to go to church on Saturday, forced to do these things, it will remove you even more from this ideology. You will realize that this is not something that I want. But because you are free, and because they gave you a Jesus story, and Jesus story sounds and feels so good, Well, now you could just change the narrative, make it seem like the story took place in Africa, make it seem like the people is black and the story is about black people. You know what I'm saying? It's the same rhetoric, ideology, and we run with that, and then we run with it, we run with it, we run with it, we run with it, we run with it until we are fully destroyed, and watch our land gets taken right from under us. Our land is being taken right from under us. Our land is being taken right from under us. Can't make this stuff up, guys. And maybe we need that. Maybe we need slavery again. That's why you guys don't want Trump to be president. Because you guys know, because you got the fear of being enslaved again. Hey, I'm all for that. Enslave all of them. Every single black person needs to be enslaved. If you're not awoken and realize what's going on, and you got the mind of a coconut, you got to be enslaved. You got to be in shackles. You got to go through that. You need harsh punishment so you can get a harsh understanding. I know it may sound mean when I say that, but it's needed, guys. We need it. We losing our children. If our children realize that this system is designed to destroy them, then they'll be able to understand why music is the way that it is. They'll be understanding why the school system is the way that it is. Then they will understand why movies the way that it is. Then they will understand why everything that's black is so demonic and evil. They'll understand it. Then they're going to want to desire to know about themselves, know about their history, know about who we was prior to slavery, right? Just imagine if we was enslaved right now. We could tell the children, oh yeah, man, we was doing this, and we was football players and basketball players, and we was great, and we was et cetera, et cetera. And then when you ask them what caused us to fall, you're going to say, because we started believing in religion. We started believing in Jesus. We thought Jesus was really we let Jesus grab the wheel and he was gonna drive us to the kingdom, but he landed us into the nearest plantation. So then now Jesus is ineffective. So what you think black people is gonna do? Black people is gonna want to tap into their spiritual culture. Black people is gonna want to read more books. Black people is gonna want to speak to African people. Black people is gonna want to desire to go home. Black people is gonna desire to be separated. Black people is gonna desire to have absolutely no interaction with those that impose evil and wickedness upon them. That's what's going to happen, and that's why I feel like it's needed. And I did a whole broadcast. I didn't get in too deep with it because of this YouTube guidelines and how they feel, and you preaching hate and this and that, and I'm really not preaching nothing. See, when it comes to black people standing on business, when it comes to black people standing on black empowerment, standing on unity amongst black people, it's seen as evil and wicked and hate. That's what they do. But how long are we gonna sit here and allow people to keep using these tactics to prevent us from connecting and loving one each other? I just uploaded a video where it's talking about love. I want to know what love is. Who's strong enough to show me? Matter of fact, I gotta call the Wiz and make sure that it went through, because I think I forgot that it went through. You know what I'm saying? When I get to my location, I'm gonna give her a call. But yeah, I wanna know what love is. We wanna know what love is. You feel me? That's the new episode that's out. Fire episode. I talk that talk. I'ma always talk this talk. I'm a life coach. I know what's our problem. I know what's causing us to suffer. I know what's causing us to fall. I know what the problem is. But you guys are prideful in this. You guys are prideful in this. You guys are not standing on business. Like I said, you guys are standing on the ideologies given unto you by the enemy. When you start standing on business, when you start standing on black empowerment, you're gonna understand exactly what I'm talking about. You don't understand what I'm talking about because you have been led astray. You feel me? But that's my time, guys. I'm gonna go call the Wiz and make sure that she upload. You know what I'm saying? You know, nowadays when you upload on YouTube, they gotta make sure that your content is not, like I said, is not projecting hateful messaging and wickedness and evil. You gotta make sure it's not doing that. So when it's not doing that, you know what I mean, then they'll prove it and then they'll say, okay, it's good, you got the green light. You know what I'm saying? Like my joint doing copyright checks, it's doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, it's a new times that we are in now. Freedom of speech is slowly being removed from people. You know, it's gonna come a time where you're gonna be unable to speak and talk that talk. You're gonna be unable to speak your mind and say what's on your mind and talk about the things that's going on. We're reaching that point, man. Facts. We're reaching that point, guys. But like I said, man, continue supporting the movement. You know what I mean? We only growing from here. You know what I'm saying? The podcast is always doing good. The numbers, the supporters, the subscribers. You know what I'm saying? We at 100 and something thou, guys. You know what I'm saying? 100 and something thou. I would never imagine to ever think that I'll be, you know what I'm saying, at that number. Never in my life. But you know, we gotta deal with those that's you gotta deal with those that's messing with the numbers and stuff like that. That's stopping us from my stomach is killing me, son. I knew that this was going to happen, bro. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to happen. But yeah, man. Continue supporting. I'll be back later on tonight at 9 p.m. You know, and we're gonna talk about some other things. I gotta let you guys see how these people are really, you know, feminizing black men, man. This one is crazy. The feminization of the black man is outrageous right now. And I'm gonna show you, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna elaborate. I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna keep it simple because the last time I did that, they hit me with a, they hit me with a, they hit me with a copyright, a hate speech. They gave me a warning. So I'm definitely gonna talk about that later. You stay tuned, support it. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.